Music Multiverse listeners, welcome back to Beyond Your Radio Album Listen Challenge Redux 2025. That's right, we've ramped up the show. It's important to challenge ourselves in listening, and we feel this program needed a reboot. Currently, what do we mean by Redux, you might ask? Well, the album will be picked by the host and creator for the first several episodes, but in actuality, tonight's is actually picked by the classic rock community that is touting this band that they should be as big as some really big bands, and they can't understand why. So we'll get into that a little bit. But, basically, this will open up for the panelists to jump on no matter what. That way people aren't trying to challenge other people, and can't get their schedules together. And so there you go. So here are the Redux parts. One album challenge to the entire field of panelists that wish to join. The person who suggests the album will give the initial information and the name of the album, the band, blah, 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 blah. You know the routine. Otherwise, if it's one of the panelists, they'll do it. Or if it's somebody from the outside world of Beyond Your Radio coming inside, you want to come on, you want to give the details, you're more than welcome. I got some people that should be chiming in on this, I would think. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe, well, not going to say it. Those that accept the challenge that are here on Zoom today will be introduced because they have no choice. Each one will give their impression of the album as well as maybe their expectations, little tidbits, but they'll keep it brief. Bloody hell.
Yes.
Yeah. Because these hour and 30-minute shows aren't cutting. No. It's what was that movie that won for the somethingist? Is it 7 hours long?
Oh, The Brutalist?
Yes, we can't be brutalists. We can be brutally honest, but we can't be. So they'll score the album like we have in the past. Yes, I'm allowing decimal points now. Oh, it was so stupid. Higher math. Then we'll get an overall ranking of the album's average against the panelists all together. The album that scores the best for the year will automatically be entered into the Album Wars at the end of the year. And good luck, because I think the Beatles are on there, Led Zeppelin. Oh boy, you're screwed. But you know what? Maybe we don't know. The underdog could take it.
Yeah.
Final comments by the suggested individual will happen. That'll be me tonight. Before we get into the challenge, did you know you can suggest an album? Yes, you can. Send it. We will do it. I promise. If you're not subscribed yet, there's still time. Subscriptions are going fast, though, so don't hesitate. Click and don't hit repeat. It's a one-time deal. If you are subscribed, well, you already know how this goes, so let's get it on. On the show, the panel tonight, she is the outlaw queen of Album Review Saturdays. Damn, Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney. Are you looking for a concert-loving man, respected individual, culturalist, with South Park-like sophistication? Jeff Young, single, emotionally fantastic, and 2 snaps up in a circle.
I knew that wasn't me when you said respectable, so that could only be Jeff.
The high orchestrator and mystic priestess of Shea Kulagowski, Susie Q.
Okay.
Finally, he knows a good earache when he hears it. Alex Kaluzny. No? All right.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. So tonight's album is Great Western Valkyrie by the artist and band Rival Sons. They are from Long Beach, California. This was released on June 10th of 2014 in the U.S. Yeah, that's right. Don't try to trick me.
Mm-hmm.
Record label was Earache Records. Okay, so now you know where I got that from.
Now it makes sense.
Now it makes sense. It's all coming together now. It's all going to work out here, sports, except for the Sabres. Members Jay Buchanan, Scott Holliday, Michael Miley, and Dave Bestie. This is blues, hard rock, classic rock, kind of a revival, if you will. The songs on the record are 10, but they're actually 12 in the other version. So you have the Electric Man, Good Luck, Secret, Play the Fool, Good Things, Open My Eyes, Rich and the Poor, Bella Star, Where I've Been, Destination on Course. And so the 10th anniversary edition has Too Much Love and My Nature on it, along with 2 live tracks. And then actually at the end, it has Black Coffee cover. if you were privy to that, but maybe you weren't, depending on what you had to listen to. So there's the skinny. The length of this is probably about 47 minutes, and then 7 or more, depending on the extras you were able to get. So the band itself, as I stated in the beginning, has been touted by the classic rock community. This is an album that was voted and put up and nominated for Classic Rock Album of the Year in 2014. And in that, they actually got in with some very famous people. So we're talking Alice Cooper, etc. And very big names. Yes, they played at the Indy
Black
500.
Sabbath.
Yes, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Deep Purple, Judas Priest, Evanescence, Queens of the Stone Age, Sammy Hagar, with the opener that they've had, Vintage Trouble, which I suggest everybody takes a peek at. This is a band that kind of has that Double Trouble kind of thing from Stevie Ray Vaughan's band. And of course, they shared the stage with Stone Temple Pilots and Greta Van Fleet and Clutch. So they have been everywhere and then some. So,
and once more, they're currently opening for Guns N' Roses in Europe, which means hopefully they'll open for Guns N' Roses in the US after they're done with the European tour.
yeah, that would be. I've never
Thank you,
seen them.
Jeff. Love that.
Yeah.
And
So-
I probably want to see them more than Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right.
At this point.
So let's start the program with Alex Kaluzny.
Where to begin with this album?
We're already an hour in, just so you know.
I would have to say, like, in terms of layering this album top to bottom and listening to it in full, I provoked a thought with me about where bands alter their track listing with an album when they play it, as opposed to how they put it on an album. Would love to ask a live band that. Wonder where we can ever do that. Cough, cough. This show. Cough, cough. It came off to me like this album grips you right off the start. It's a little bit, pulls your hair before it makes love to you at the end when it slows down. It comes out with a bang, and it hooks you immediately. And that was, if you're me when it comes to an album, I can't start with something fast, slow, fast, and have the tempo thrown off. This thing took 4 or 5 songs right off the hop, and I was in. And they could have played lullabies at the end, and I would have been like, all right, great album already still.
So you were smoking a cigarette at the end.
Probably could have.
And getting some Mighty Taco.
Man, we're beating that one to
I'm going to start getting royalties, I guess.
We're beating that one deader than the beef that I eat out of it. So I would say it really wasn't until probably about track 6 or 7 that I started to feel a different influence to this album. And the reason being is that's the first time to me that the classic rock influence started to hit. Opened my eyes, made me think that there was like a little bit of a When the Levee Breaks intro from Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Then you got to Rich and the Poor, and I don't know if I'm the only person who could possibly make this link, but I got Hey Hey My My out of the intro of that song.
That wouldn't surprise me. I have to think about it.
It just had a little bit of that. I don't know how to describe the guitar, but it just that sound to the strum, to the chord that they're playing.
The feedback.
Yeah, and I say that because really what this band gave me, and I don't like comparing their sound to other things I've heard, but it was just so prominent throughout this album. I got shades of the Black Keys at the end. I got shades of Kaleo through the beginning and middle, which is one of my favorites for anyone who doesn't know that's tuned in.
Mhm.
And I even got a little bit, I think, with what I like to call the static sound, the static rock, that mix between the wailing of the guitar to the vocals that have a little bit of that roughness to the production and the microphone. There's a band out of Canada that I enjoyed, and I think they won the famed rock search we talk about one year, the Standstills. And I got a lot of influence off of those two sounds together. So this album to me really encompassed a lot of that. Absolutely loved it. I do think that where it was placed, I'm glad that they ended on Where I've Been and Destination on Course. Good songs that I would say lyrically, it was really hard for me to comprehend what he's singing about content wise. I think throughout the harder songs, but I think the sound is still there. That's one where I would have to probably slow it down and read some lyrics as he's singing or something. I didn't get to hear any bonus tracks, but yeah, it was a very enjoyable album. It was an absolute banger, and that's definitely one I could see a revisit for me as well.
Sweet.
I'm surprised I hadn't caught this one.
All
So
right.
I think I had heard one of the songs before. So
Let's how about the artwork?
Frank?
Where do you score that one?
artwork for this one, it's something I like, but it's nothing special. I'll give it a 3.5. I'll give it just above the middle there.
Here come the decimals. Flo.
I just had to do it just because I knew you'd absolutely hate it. Flow for this one, I thought it did a good job of it, even right down to the very end. I'm gonna go. Let's go a 5. No one caught me off guard.
Musicianship. Melody band.
I felt like I was really impressed with the drumming here in this album too.
Yeah.
The fills that he put in out of this were incredible. And another thing too, in the first opening track with Electric Man, there's a lot of subtle sounds in the back of that song that can get lost and if you're not listening closely. So, musicianship, I'll give that a 5 as well.
Accessibility.
I don't think a lot of people could get into the listening of this album. I really don't. You got to be on a certain niche. I think there's an audience that I don't think that can get into the roughness of that sound.
What about your mom? Could your mom get into it?
I think for the blues element, yes.
What about your dad?
Oh, he would. That's a given.
Okay.
Okay.
But I can see. He's not answering. He's either dead or non-existent. And I lean toward, and it's the latter.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a pocket of people. I think this is one that, like a Chef Jeff, for example, I don't think he would love it. I think that scratchy, static sound would, at least in my prediction, I don't think that would be in his wheelhouse. So
would you be shocked to know that he saw them live?
I would be.
He did.
Yep. Well, he did.
But then again, actually, with who they've played with, probably not.
Yeah.
Now that I second think that.
Yeah.
Accessibility. Well, I'll go 3.
Okay.
I'll put it in the middle there. I mean, for those of us who love rock music, it fits.
Okay. Production.
It was a very produced album. You could feel the fingers mixing in there with it. Just especially in terms of the vocals, you have to with that sound. I'll give the production a solid 4.
Okay. Let's go to Jeff Young.
Howdy.
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 This particular album, I think it really brings you to especially with the vocals and the kind of the echo style where the production of it is, it's almost like, hey, why don't you go into that tiled room over there and sing this song? And it kind of reminds me of some of the older 50s, 60s music where you always felt like there was that effect and it wasn't even really at the time. I don't think really made as an effect, just the way it was recorded. But it you know, even almost kind of like sometimes like you felt like that way when you heard like the first time you heard the White Stripes. It was kind of like, oh, this is like an older style, but it's new. You know, it's like a different way of doing it. And but it's really good. I mean, there's definitely a good quality of vocal, and it's not the same in every song, but there is a lot of that production to it where it's like you think, oh, I like it. Probably wouldn't sound this way live, but it would still sound really good live. And I like the distorted guitar, and even the percussion seems sort of like metallic, like not like metallic like a kettle drum, but you know, it's got that different raw sound to it. The whole thing is very raw and you know, somewhat bluesy, but it's just really good straight ahead rock and roll, in my opinion. It's just a good album.
Okay. Art.
I mean, what art? It's a picture of them. There's no art to it. I mean, it's just give it a 3.
Flow.
Flow, irrelevant to me. I'll give it a 3.
Melody, the musicianship. Jesus.
I mean, definitely a 4.
Accessibility.
What is that again?
That'd be the idea of how easy it is for people to get into it. Are they gonna have to listen to it all multiple times to understand it?
I don't know if I think people would like. You could turn it on any part of this album. I think people would gravitate to it, especially like even more like the people who like the Southern type rock, or I think definitely I'd say definitely a 4. I mean, it's nothing that turns people off. I think people are going to be listen to the whole thing. You play a song from, they're going to want to listen to the whole thing.
Production.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I guess a 4 because it kind of like is a main part of the album. So yeah.
Okie dokie. Over to Deb.
Well, the very first song, when it opens with the cowbell, you know you're going to get what you're looking for.
More?
Yeah. I'm conflicted about this album, and you probably know why. I feel that they're talented. I feel that they have a place in the musicscape. I was pleased as I went through this album. I mean, I've heard of them before, so it's not like they were a new band to me per se, but they kind of were in that time period where I wasn't listening to that kind of rock so much. But I was happy to know that as these songs progressed through the album, that there were changes in the vocals, that it wasn't all trying to be somebody that he's not. He was able to show his vocal range and sounding like different people, reminiscent, but still sounding like himself. I felt anyway. But open my eyes, that opening drum. I mean, that's Zeppelin. Play the Fool. There was a Zeppelin refrain in there. Secret, Dirty and Gritty, and the vocals. As soon as he starts to wail, it's Robert Plant. When you get further into the song list, though, and I'm going to correct you, Mark, because your pronunciation on names sometimes isn't the best, but it's Belle Starr, who was a very famous star in the 40s. So she died a horrible, violent death, and it's not Ballet Star, it's Belle Starr. That had flashes of the Who. I kind of felt some trippiness there. Even Destination on Course, the very last one, the vocals were very moody and tender, and kind of then got a little bit more driven. I really liked that album or that song because it had a little bit of Pink Floyd Gilmore guitar going there for me. So all in all, I like what they're doing. I mean, it kind of goes from a Michael Hutchins to a Jim Morrison to a Robert Plant to a whatever you want to hear, you can find it. This guy has a lot of talent. And I think what I was maybe a little bit more disappointed in was too much copying, maybe. And I don't know if that's how their other albums are. So I don't want to say that's what the whole band does every album, but I think that they know where their influences come from and what they like to do and how they sound good. And so I liked it. I'm ready to do my little thing here.
The album art.
3.
Flow.
Well, I beg to differ with Jeff. I think the flow is really good on this. I really liked it, caught me with the high energy, exactly what Alex was saying. I agree with Alex on the flow. I felt like it got you hooked in there, wanted you to listen to some more. And I think that bringing it down a notch, each song towards the end left it out to feeling a little bit calmer than how you started out. And I thought, oh, that was cool. So I give it a 4.5.
Okay.
So what you're saying is I'm right.
But almost right.
Almost right.
She didn't score it the same as you. She decimaled it. It's that Clint Eastwood Heartbreak Ridge. Don't let
Yes.
the trick have the satisfaction. This would be a musicianship next.
Oh, 4.5. They're excellent. They're awesome. I wish I could play a few notes like they can.
Accessibility.
I would say that anybody that's going to listen to this album is going to be able to get into it. I don't think that somebody that wants to listen to Billie Holiday is going to even pick this up. So I'm going to rate my accessibility based on people that would gravitate towards it anyway, and I would give it a 4.25. I did that.
Wow.
We
Now we're
definitely
double decimals. Swell.
we're definitely scoring that category with a different mindset for sure.
That's okay. Well, yeah, because
Production.
you're 12. No, I'm kidding.
Production.
That should make it harder for me to get into.
Yes.
Production. I'm really bad at this scoring because I don't really know much about it. So since I like it and I want it to get a good score, I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I don't know if it's cheating and just throwing a number out there,
Basically,
but
when I talk about production, it's does the vocal come across? Does it sound good? Is there this crackling? Are there hummings in the background? Are the distortions too much? Is it too compact? Like
Yeah.
everyone's all on the same channel?
No, I liked it. 4.
Too much
Got it.
flux? Is it, or can it be overproduced? Pick any pop band at this point, but
Okay. I'm going to give it a 4 then. I don't know if that's fair, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm going to say. And I will learn better. I will do a tutorial on production.
I will learn better.
Sure.
All right. Susie Q. Uh-oh.
Is she frozen?
I don't know. Can't tell.
I thought that was just
Sue's
her
frozen.
pose.
Yeah. She might be frozen. Nope, she blinked.
Wait,
She's
open your eyes
asleep.
if you're being held hostage.
She's sleeping.
It kicked me out.
What did
know.
what did the kidnapper look like? Was
He
it
was telling you
was
to
it like
blink
the guy?
twice.
Did it look like somebody on this broadcast? Are you being held in a basement? Oh wait, no, never mind. Role reversal.
It went dark.
Sue,
all right.
we're gonna go to you now that you're
Your
unfrozen.
turn.
All right, I'll try again. So I don't know what I said before, but
You didn't say anything. We got nothing.
Nothing.
You
Okay.
lose.
All right. So I was saying that I don't feel overly confident to critique or review it. So I'll do my best with it. But I agreed with points made by just about everybody on here. Like, to what Alex was saying, not quite the same visuals, but it does grab you right off the bat. And if you're not ready for it, you're probably going to be turned off by it and be like, ooh, quick, something I'm used to. But I felt like it I felt like it's a mood. It's a mood, and they do what they do very well. Uh, I always get confused exactly what classic rock is. Is there like a 5-word definition of classic rock? No. For me, like this is like I'm calling it heavy rock more than like hard rock or classic rock because it's kind of like it lays into it, and there is the blues and there are all the things everybody's already said. Um, but it's not like a Metallica or like something like
No.
that. And I get that there were shades. I knew immediately, Deb, like you are going to be turned off by the Led Zeppelin, little shades of Zeppelin. Because and you have to wonder, like, was it intentional? Was it just like paying homage to? Was it just like this sounds really cool? Someone now maybe someone just starting off in this kind of music in 2014 may not be as familiar with Led Zeppelin. Hate to say it, but so for them it might be new and it might be a really cool sound. So I tried to look past that. Like I tried not to get stuck on that or any of the sounds. Like I heard a little bit of Doors. I heard a little bit of Foreigner. I even heard a little bit of AC/DC. And then I even heard a little bit of Joan Osborne in one of the songs, Saint Teresa.
Interesting.
But overall, I heard them. I think they are a very unique band, very talented band. Vocalist, obviously, we talked about that. I also liked the production on it, how it was kind of gritty, but not garage band or bar band. It was elevated and professional.
Yeah.
So I liked it from start to finish. I was gonna say when I got to the last song, I didn't really care for it at first, and then I listened to it again, and it was like, all right, that was good. And then similar feelings to kind of how it was laid out and how they it took on a new feel midway through. I loved the 50s, 60s kind of throwback sounds. I thought that was kind of cool.
There is your classic rock definition.
Okay.
Starting in the 60s, not the 50s, but anything of the 60s forward, and to use that
Early
into radio.
rock.
Album oriented recordings, AOR, that's album oriented.
When Deb was alive and you weren't.
So it's not so much a sound, it's a time period. That's what it's like.
Kinda, because I was thinking 60s through like early 80s.
It has to incorporate. You understand? It has to incorporate that. That's kind of the ideal of that classic signatures of that 60s and 70s and 80s. Yeah, you don't have to play it, but you have to have that. It has that
the influence
in spades. It has it more than most.
Well,
but it is not touting it and re-representing it again and again and again and again, as some bands could be doing. Nothing wrong with that either, but you have an identity, okay?
Yeah,
and
they do have an identity. And I think again, other than those few chords that you can't miss, if you hear them, you're like, oh, they're good at storytelling, and they can play, and they'd probably be incredible in person, live. So I enjoyed it. I'm trying to think if I had anything, like, really everybody kind of said.
You kind of alluded to the point that I was thinking, which was when I brought up the earlier point at the start of my topic, when I said, I wonder how this would play to a live show, and if the set list would be the same way as it is with the album. You kind of said my reasoning in your description, which was, if you took this album as it's laid out by track list and you played that live, you got on stage, it was track 1 right down, I'd be 5 songs in like, oh my God.
Yeah.
If you like threw in, second or third song, one of the back end of this album,
right,
I'd be like, okay, you needed to bring me back a little bit in the middle of your set. So that's why I wonder, like, because call it what it is. When we go to concerts, very seldom, unless it's like an anniversary of an album show, do you hear the catalog front to back, track 1 to 12, 13, 14, 15. Usually they get scrambled and mixed throughout. So That's why I'm really curious in a band's live composition with this. Like, again, you nail the first 7-8 songs in a row. I'd be like, oh my God, I want more of this band in every facet. I'm going and looking up every album when I get home. Like, that's why I was curious about how they played this live post release.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sue, art.
I mean, I liked it. It was kind of like, I don't know how to say it. It is just a photo of them. It's a nice photo though. And I and I in my brain, I'm always looking for like the next booze, and like I like you can tell they were trying to say something with the photo, and it's kind of cool. And that is one thing I wish, and maybe it is on different albums. Because I did read a little bit about them, not a lot, because I don't like to read into it too much. But apparently, they're a really nice group of guys, and I wish people would show that a little bit more. But anyway, I give it a 3.5.
Flo.
Below. I'm gonna give it a 4. And I do also wish, I was just curious, and I know I think I've said this before on other bands' albums, but with the sound that they put out, I would love to hear something acoustic and just hear what that sounds like. I don't know.
Where the second to the last song had some acoustic in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like Jeff was saying, it's a very raw sound, and I wanted I wouldn't mind even more of that. But anyway.
Yep. That's kind of what I thought when I saw the album cover when I first bought the album. Like, oh, it's going to be a little raw. Technically, it is in the comparison to the records prior, but not in the way that you were thinking. Musicianship, melody, band.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Accessibility.
Yeah, I'll go with a 4. And Alex is right. Like, it's not for everybody. But again, I guess if you're looking up this genre, then it would be for you. So 4, I guess.
Production.
I'll give it a 5. Oh, 5. Sorry. I don't like the ceiling was cracking.
Oh no.
All right.
Stop.
So for me, I believe this is one of the most perfect albums of the last 2 decades. I didn't think so at first. I was kind of onslaught or slaughtered by other albums and bands, and that can be a problem. Why do I think this? First of all, his vocal is as incredible as it can be. Whether it's produced in the studio to make that way, he still got to deliver. Okay? So I know that he delivers live. I've heard the shows, but I also had a person, well, obviously the Grateful Dude was there. Yes, Robert Plant. Yes, Chris Cornell. Yes, Michael Hutchins. This is soulful, though. One of the people talked about an old soul singer, Bill Withers, maybe?
I don't know.
Who I didn't know, so I was going to go back, but I didn't get the chance to. The band's guitarist is sick. He can play, and he doesn't have to identify, but he can theft a little bit here, throw a little bit there. I can't even imagine if like they decide to go in the middle of a song, and I'm pretty sure there's a medley in there that it reaches somewhere else, right, and comes back. It seems like they can do a lot of things. The drummer he's Bonham. He is.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's so good.
And I know this because the drummer was present, Jeff Johnson, and he said the first thing that struck me and carried me the whole show live was the drummer was ridiculous.
Really?
And he just said, boy, could he do what he wanted to do. And yes, the fills are amazing. This is a really tight record from start to finish. They have opened, again, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, all these people, but this is a blues that's so superior in the new band era, which they don't like to do this. They have this hatred almost to not sound like that or to not even go to that area. And however, the U.S. marketplace is still an enigma. They get more play and more growth and more in Europe,
Oh,
which is
The U.S.
astounding.
is so different in every corner of the country, though.
Yeah,
know what?
that's true too.
You know why the Europe doesn't surprise me though is when I liken this band to Kaleo, they're a Scandinavian rock band with a lot of those similar sounds,
hmm.
and it kind of gave me a sense of that influence from that region.
It has a link to English rock. There's no question.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
How it's set up, right? But still,
Yeah.
our country loves the Rolling Stones. Our country loves the Beatles. And every generation that comes in, and this is that point that some people are trying to make, that this band could be, and this is the record that I rest my case on. The rest of them I don't. They try. There's that is sitting in the back of their head that they gotta be. So I gotta reach over and try to grab an alternative rock band. I've got to mess with sound. The bigger production on the last two records, which went back to back, they are not the same when you go to these other band. So album ranking wise, I look because I think this is the least talked about record for some reason among these people that are talking about how good this band is. They talk about this album the least.
I was going to ask you, Mark, what the prior albums were like, because I wish that I had time, but maybe it was better that I didn't go back. I don't know if it would have
I mean,
influenced what I was thinking.
If you work from this record and you work back and you work forward, you'll get the understanding of
okay,
of how it goes. If you're a fan of the band, you're like, wow. When this album came, I was like, wow, this is a step. Bang, 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 bang. And then after that, not so much. And I don't know, it's change your producers or whatever it is, but the band does not follow any particular pattern. They have a progressive type of mindset that they don't want to stand on the solid ground that they built. They kind of want to break it down and try to do something else, to build to a different level or to jump some far out. This is a 24 for me. There's only one problem with the record, and that is the album cover. I needed a little bit more something. I wanted this Usual Suspects kind of thing, and I get that. But the Western Valkyrie, right? This older kind of thing, throwback, and just to get into that idea, I guess I lost that in there, okay?
Yeah.
Because Electric Man, it's actually subtitled as "Take You to the Sugar Shack." Well, wait a minute. Blackfish did that to me. Okay. Good luck. It's going to hurt right now. Okay. When it's the Bell Star, that's the side thing is in parentheses is the gem inside sparkles yet. Those were things that were lost on me that didn't work. But the kudos. This is one of I really looking back on all the years in those 2 decades. This album always strikes me as like, wow, this was just super well done. And there are people that's a rock star. That's a rock vocal. No one made that in the studio. He can deliver.
I was listening and watching into it on YouTube, and I was waiting for the video that had a electric slide banjo that could get smashed on the ground.
So at this point, I got to add this up. All right. So the final average for tonight is 20.85. And I have to put that back up at the top of my sheet. So at 20.85. So the champion at the moment was, and I say was, Eva Carboni at 20.8125.
No.
At 20.85.
No.
It will be Rival Sons.
Oh
No.
boy.
I'm going back.
How many participants in the Eva
I
Carboni?
want another Redux.
The Eva Carboni.
It was 2 of us.
No, it wasn't. That's
Drive that wedge in.
These are bands that are going up against. Forget
I
it.
know, but still.
All right. So please let us know what you think. Rival Sons, Great Western Valkyrie. would you have scored this album? What would you have scored it, right? Would you have put Tom Cruise on the cover in his uniform? No. Okay. I want to thank the panelists for participating. They were not held at gunpoint to do this. They wanted to. They came on. Right, guys?
Right.
Sue, open your eyes.
Wait a
if you're
minute,
held
Sue
hostage.
was held hostage downstairs for a while.
We'll return in a couple of weeks. Please comment. We'd love to know your impressions. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you don't like it, that's okay. Don't hit the don't like. That makes no sense.
Sue accidentally clicked I am a robot.
Tell your friends, your neighbors, your teacher, your dog walker, your mail person, your spiritual advisor, and maybe your parents. Maybe.
Might hurt the accessibility score on the spiritual advisor, but
Yeah.
Album Listen Challenge.
Yeah, the next time we meet for Album Listen Challenge, it will be the Dwellers and their album Good Morning, Harry Carey.
Did you make up that name or is that real?
It is real. I assure you it is
Good morning,
real.
Harry Carey.
Yeah,
The Dwellers.
Good morning, Harry Carey.
Good morning, Harry Carey.
from the basement
just
dweller
remember-
himself, your
From
host,
the
Art
basement.
Nowakowski.
Dwellers.
Will
Just
Ferrell
just
being
thought of
Harry
category
Carey.
number 6, which is band name.
So stay with us later in the week. We have panelist favorite show, and it's going to be progressive albums. Your favorite, part 1 of 3. How you break it down, panelists, I don't actually care. So you can start with 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11, and then go 10. There'll be 3 shows where you can showcase 5. No honorable mentions, just 5. So we'll start it off this Thursday. Anyway, we're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course, articles, videos, podcasts coming in April. It's all about albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on, even Dwellers. So go Beyond Your Radio, thus a real music appreciation channel. As always, thanks for watching and happy listening.
Bye.